How did Ryan Poles pull off this masterclass of a trade? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports, all back at it with another video talking, of course, my NFL, here to talk about the Chicago Bears and here to talk about how Ryan Poles pulled off an absolute haul for the #1 overall pick. And I want to take you guys behind the curtain of how this trade actually happened, okay? So I got some details here, courtesy of Jeff Hughes of the Bears blog. He has been all over this, and man, he really shed some light on this. I'm going to read you guys some of these quotes here real quickly here and paint the picture of how Ryan Poles pulled this off. So, and I quote, "Over the last 2 weeks, several people around the sport let me know that this deal was agreed upon with two caveats. They thought that Jim Irsay would top it, and none of them had the DJ Moore component." So nobody thought that DJ Moore was going to be included in this trade from Carolina, and people thought the Colts would top this deal. Jim Irsay would go ahead and top this deal. And Poles, and he continues, identified his two most likely suitors and realized they each possessed something that he coveted more than draft picks, which was, drumroll please, a young, talented wide receiver. The Colts with Michael Pittman and the Panthers with DJ Moore. Okay? Once either was put in the deal, the other would have to match. Basically meaning that since Carolina put DJ Moore in the deal, then if Indy wanted to go ahead and top it, they would have to include Michael Pittman. No ifs, ands, or buts. Oh, man. That is Ryan Poles right there. And then he continues, Poles' recent media blitz wasn't so much about upping the price for the first pick as it was accelerating the timeline. Okay? He didn't need to know what he'd have come draft time before free agency. He needed to know what he'd have in his wide receiver room. This makes complete sense. Ryan Poles wanted to accelerate the timeline and come to an agreement on a trade before free agency because he wanted to know what his wide receiver room was going to be, because he didn't want to overpay for wide receiver, because wide receiver is atrocious in free agency, right? A lot of Jacoby Myers, a lot of DJ Charts, a lot of Darius Slaytons. Nothing DJ Moore level, all right? Nothing. And so he was like, I have all this capital. I don't want to spend it on wide receiver if I don't have to. And if I have DJ Moore or Michael Pittman, I'm not going to. So that was the brilliant part. And now the Bears, he continues, have added the best available wide receiver this offseason. That's a fact. I went through this in my last video. There is no receiver that was technically available that is better than DJ Moore. I'm not talking about guys that like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, those teams aren't trading them. I'm talking about available receivers. Nobody was better than DJ Moore. Go check out my last video if you don't believe me. And Moore is better than every free agent wide receiver by a wide margin, and he's better than this entire wide receiver draft class. I agree with all that. So now Poles can focus his attention on where it belongs in the next 2 months, which is the trenches. And there we have it. So this, just reading the thought process here by Ryan Poles, man, he just played this entire thing beautifully, man. Like, he was just a savvy, shrewd operator, just, you know, folding his hands, sitting back and saying, I'll wait. I'm not giving you this pick until you include DJ Moore. You want Bryce Young? You want CJ Stroud? DJ Moore. Jim Irsay, you want in on this? Michael Pittman. Sorry, not doing it. I got time, I'll wait. And the GMs and the owners caved. I mean, the Panthers are like, well, we've had Sam Darnold, we've had Baker Mayfield, we've had so many of these, you know, poor quarterbacks. We need to address the quarterback position. Let's just do it. Then they caved. And Jim Irsay, maybe if he waits a little bit longer, he would have caved too. But now GM Chris Ballard's under, kind of the hot seat, right? Because the Panthers just snuck right up to #1. And now the Colts might not get Stroud or Bryce Young. So brilliant move by Ryan Poles. Now, I will say this. Look, Ryan Poles played this beautifully. I wouldn't say his tenure's been perfect. Yeah, there definitely has been some free agent misses that he's had, like, let's say, Byron Pringle, guys like that. But for the most part, Ryan Poles has really put the Bears in the best position to succeed, and he has hit this one out of the park here. So I love seeing that. And the last part is what I love the most. Now Ryan Poles can focus his attention on specifically the trenches. Offensive line and defensive line. That's it. The next 2 months with the draft and free agency, we literally are going to get a brand new offensive line and a brand new defensive line. I'm talking about a complete revamp. And Ryan Poles, being a former offensive lineman, you better believe he's going to do whatever he can to protect his quarterback. And so that is what he's going to focus on. Now wide receiver is a luxury. It's not a necessity. Now he doesn't have to worry about the other positions. Cole Kmet's our tight end, all right? Running back, we got Herbert. Maybe we'll look for somebody in free agency, but it's not as important, all right? Receiver room, we're pretty much set. Obviously, Fields is our quarterback. Defense, we got to build it up. Offensive line, we got to build it up. Now we can focus on it. The trenches. And that is how you play the GM position. Thank you, Ryan Poles. All right? Let me know what you guys thought about that as always. Thanks for watching.